Amrita, give us more details of what the White House is saying about the Prime Minister's visit.
I think, Gargi, contrary to the subdued expectations which were there ahead of Prime Minister's visit here to the US, his first such interaction with President Donald Trump, even though the two have spoken thrice since President Trump was elected, I think the expectation was on a subdued side. It was being billed as a get-to-know-each-other visit rather than a visit with deliverables. But the White House is amping up that expectation by saying that they're going to be rolling out the red carpet and making every effort to make it as memorable as it can be. They're stressing, though, through three areas on the prism and looking at it on the through the prism of US eyes. One's defense. We know already that US signed that drone deal. That's a $2 to $3 billion drone deal for 22 Guardian drones, which US will be supplying to India. These are unarmed drones, and they will be used as surveillance to the Indian Ocean. But this is only one such deal, and they want to expand this $15 billion partnership which has taken place over the last decade. The stress is that the Congress still needs to pass the approval for this deal, but I think there'll be a lot of questions evolving around how can this partnership extend itself in defense. On the contentious issue of the trade as well as H-1B as well as climate change, there are no clear answers. They've been billed to be thorny, prickly issues from India's side. The US believes that this will not even come up, and my sources on ground here have also said that H-1B visa, much as it's occupied Indian national attention, is not a priority of the Modi government, and it will not come up during this meeting. Climate change will be raised, but both the countries want to seek some kind of common ground and a mutual beneficial path going forward. On the other two areas of development, we've spoken extensively about counter-terrorism. This time around, a lot of effort to be done on information sharing, on terrorist screening, on their travel, as well as shared databases. But I think there is a mixed message coming on that front because the US has continued to maintain that its relationship with Pakistan remains intact. It's a productive relationship according to them, and the India relationship should not be looked at through the eyes of US severing ties with Pakistan. They say it's not a zero-sum game, and they will continue to share security as well as defense information with Pakistan as well. And I think this will put India a little on the skeptical side. And finally, on energy. Here in United States is Energy Week, so a lot of focus locally on how this will create jobs. Donald Trump is expected to applaud some initiatives by Indian companies to invest in liquefied natural gas, and possibly want to try and break away from that impasse on the civil nuclear arrangement. Westinghouse is still stuck in that viability clause, and there'll be a lot of discussion on that front. But again, US wants to look at this relationship through their own eyes, which is promoting US jobs, and anything that gives more sort of color to this Donald Trump's own nationalist ideology. So I think there'll be a lot between the lines. We'll be talking about how these two leaders personally get along. Somebody mentioned that they are the two leaders who have the maximum social media following in the world. But can they really see beyond that to also issues of shared sort of strategy against radical jihadist Islamic terrorism? So that's going to center around much of that personal equation, but it's a long interaction stretching more than 6 hours, and there'll be a lot between the lines. All the important cabinet members, including Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Vice President Mike Pence, will be part of this visit. But I think, Gargi, here locally, there's not much play on the semantics around this. And I think a lot of discussion is also on the fact that we still don't have a South Asia department in place right now, not even an assistant secretary there. So how can the US focus so strongly on this particular partnership without even getting the basic logistics in place?